Hello and welcome to the Niddcast with your hosts, General Hatchet and Lacarthian.
Hi.
Today our guests are Anubiz and Drakaul.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, we'll start off with some introductions for the two of you. Anubiz, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
I am a fellow gamer.
Yay.
I enjoy playing games. I'm actually relatively new back to gaming. I was on a massive 15-year gaming hiatus. I played games when I was in high school, then I stopped playing games when I got a job. And then I started playing games when my son told me I had to play games. So I've been recently get right back into it, and I've gone crazy ever since and met all you guys.
Well, sweet. What about you, Drakaul?
I have been playing games since I was 4.
Really?
For Nintendo, actually.
Oh, okay. What system?
Super Nintendo.
Okay. I'm not
You
entirely
young whippersnappers.
Yeah, the Super NES.
No, I used to play a Baja game on that. It was the most fun I ever had until I found Halo. And after playing Halo, I fell in love with first-person shooters.
Oh.
So, what have we been playing this week? Anything interesting, Anubiz?
Well, I've been playing a few things, I guess, this week. None of it is relatively new, I guess. It's games that have been out for a little while. Like, I'm still doing a few different Space Engineers games, doing some stuff with on the Nidd server as well as with the Mary Gamer and Sal on their server. I've been doing some Forest, some Damned, some racing and Assetto Corsa, some Team Fortress, and I don't know, Unturned, Terraria. I actually just started a Terraria series. Again, it's not a new game, but I've never played it before, so I've been playing lots of stuff, and it's been super fun.
Interesting. I own Terraria, but I've only played a couple hours of it. What makes it different from Minecraft?
It's a 2D side-scroller instead of a 3D game, right? So you dig down and you build up and you fight monsters, but it's all side-scroller, and it's a different take, I guess, on the same thing. It's the same idea, right? You mine for stuff, you craft. So it's very similar to Minecraft, but just a slightly different take on it and slightly different gameplay. I've only played it for a few hours myself. I've actually been finding it quite enjoyable, but I was playing it with Apple and Melon, and they're just hilarious people, so that's probably why I enjoyed it so much.
That's true. That's true. What about you, Drakaul? Anything interesting?
I've been playing a lot of Heroes and Generals. I think it's an addicting game, apart from a few slight things that they need to improve, like the search mechanic for it needs an improvement, because you get into games halfway over and then you don't get paid.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I remember that.
But you still lose money. It's not fair.
Yeah. I know Lacarthian and I've been playing that. Anubiz, have you been playing any of that?
No, I've seen actually quite a few people like Drakaul playing it constantly, but I haven't even looked it up yet.
Oh, okay. For those of you who are like Anubiz and don't know anything about it, it's a World War II FPS MMO.
Oh, cool.
With combined arms.
Sort of.
Not really
It's
MMO.
not technically an MMO, but it's you get into games that are it's like 18 people per team, and then you have so many resources, vehicles like APCs, tanks, medium tanks, light tanks, and tank destroyers. I drive my T-34 a lot.
The most
That
widely
sounds
produced
cool.
tank of World War II. I know these facts. because
T-34-85.
Was it T-34-85 or the 57 that was most widely produced? I don't.
The T-34 was very widely used, but so was the T-34-85. But the 85 came much later because it was the upgraded version.
Okay. Anyways, this is getting a little too historical.
That's fine. I like history.
There is an IS in Generals, just saying.
Right. There is an IS.
But nobody seems to have one.
Well, because it's incredibly expensive. You have to pay for it. I mean, there's hardly. It's almost impossible to grind to it unless you play as much as Drakaul does.
These are lies.
For the rest of us who don't spend their lives playing here in Generals, it's almost
I
impossible.
play other games.
There is a game that I am eagerly anticipating the release of.
Oh, what's that?
Firefly Online.
Firefly Online. Is that like
I can't wait.
TV show Firefly?
Yeah. If there's anybody out there that loves Firefly as much as me, I'd be surprised.
Okay, so it's Firefly Online Cortex. Is that the name of it?
Cortex is that's available right now.
Oh, okay.
It's not actually a game. It's more like a trading card. You just collect the cards and stuff, but you can fly around in the universe and you can get used to the verse, all that kind of stuff. Kind of get into the game before it's actually released. But the actual Firefly Online is supposed to be coming out soon, but I'm still waiting for it.
Okay, now I've never actually watched Firefly.
Blasphemy.
Oh, I was about to say that.
So I'm a huge Star Trek nerd. I've watched every episode of every season except for Enterprise. I watched a couple episodes of it and I couldn't stand it.
I watched all of Enterprise too. I enjoyed it.
Okay, yeah.
Deep Space Nine was the one I missed because I watched the first season and I was like, oh my god, this is like, I can't stand this, and then stopped watching it. And then later on, many years later, my friends told me that, oh my god, you should have just held on until the Dominion War started, and then it was amazing. I never saw any of that.
Yeah, although it doesn't. I mean, for people who liked the kind of exploration aspect of the first three series, Deep Space Nine didn't really have that as much.
Well, if you like Star Trek, cowboys, space, and like mixing cultures, then I think you'll like Firefly.
Okay.
Space. Yes. Yeah.
That was only on for a season, right? That it got canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled before it even finished the season, and there was a massive uproar by the viewership because
I'm pretty sure a Molotov cocktail went through the window of the producing studio.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Fox had decided they didn't like it. They didn't think it was going to do well, and so they killed it. They were obviously wrong because the cult that has grown up around it ever since it's the only TV show in history that was canceled before the first season was finished that got a multi-million-dollar movie contract.
There's a movie?
Yep.
There's a movie. It's called Serenity.
Serenity came out afterwards, and Joss Whedon knew that it was his last chance to kind of like finish it off because he basically had something like at least six full seasons of content ready to go for that show. And he basically, in the movie, he took everything that he wasn't able to get out in the TV series and slammed it into the movie. So it's extremely fast paced, but unbelievably amazing. So totally worth it.
It is.
Okay, so for those of us who haven't seen it before, the best is to watch the TV series, like get it somehow.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I'm pretty sure. But you do need to look up the proper order to watch them because once again, Fox released them in an order that they thought would gather more audience, and they released them totally out of sequence. So you need to just look up what the proper order is and watch them in the right order so that the story unfolds as it should, because they do a lot of character development that's really awesome.
One does not equal one.
No, it doesn't. If you're starting it with the train job, you're starting it wrong.
So Firefly Online, that'll be interesting. Do you think it'll? I mean, is it going to be an MMO?
Yep. I believe it's like a dual thing. I think it's kind of like an MMO, and there's also single player like there's a single player side to it and an MMO side to it, and you can kind of like jump back and forth. I don't know a whole lot about the game. It's Firefly. So when it comes out, I'm going to play it no matter what because it's Firefly. Because I like Firefly.
So is it like a competitor to, say, Elite Dangerous or Star Citizen, or is it more of a kind of classic MMO?
The gameplay videos that I've watched and stuff, so it's like the whole idea behind the TV series was like you're a starship captain that kind of gathers a ragtag crew. You don't really believe in the law that is established in the verse, and you kind of make your way doing odd jobs, whether they're legal or not. You scavenge ships to kind of find what you need and sell them. The game looks like it's kind of trying to emulate that aspect of that world, right? So you have to kind of gather up a crew and scavenge ships, and it's got some of the video that I watched kind of had kind of like that bird's eye view of you like walking your character around, some fog of war aspects as you kind of like look through a derelict ship and discover the rooms and look for scavenge stuff and bring it back to your ship. Then you fly from planet to planet and you try and sell them. You pick up jobs, all to kind of make enough money to kind of keep the ship fueled up and keep flying.
Yeah, that's it. Sounds good. I'll have to check that out.
I was going to bring up we were talking about Star Trek. The Star Trek Online game actually continues the story from all of the Voyager and Deep Space Nine and all of that.
Oh, it does? Okay.
Yeah, and you actually hear about the new Star Trek movies when Spock appeared back in time. That event, they talk about it, and the Romulans were introduced recently, I think. Well, not recently, obviously, but, this year, I think. Or was it last year? I don't know. One of the two. It's a good game. It's gone free to play, which for some games but this one it's still all right. It's playable. It's not pay to win, but you can buy money and get advantages still. So there's a balance between the two, though.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
I mean, the big question for free to plays is, is it pay to progress faster or pay to win? I mean, are there advantages that you can get by paying that you cannot get just playing a free to play?
No, pretty much anything you're paying, you can get something equivalent by playing.
So it's free to pay. It's pay to progress faster.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's another Heroes and Generals.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, but in Heroes and Generals, you can technically buy a tiger and not be very good with it, and you would actually be screwing yourself over. No, if you buy the Tiger 2 with 0 taking experience, you have no gunner, which means your reload takes twice as well, 75% longer than the guy that's got Stalin or the Persian. And then they're going to get out, they're going to repair, then you're going to come back and you're going to die again. So if you're going to buy a Tiger, level up your tank first, then buy the Tiger.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Lacarthian, have you been playing anything interesting besides Heroes and Generals? Please don't say Heroes and Generals. We said that
I was
so
gonna
many
say I'm playing Desktop Dungeons right now.
Desktop Dungeons, is that on Steam?
Yes, can also be played in a browser. So if you make a online account, you can play it pretty much anywhere.
Is it free or on?
No, you pay for it, but that's because this version of it has a lot more stuff. Basically, the paid-for version has more quest lines and things. Basically, it's a puzzle game. It's top-down. You have to take this guy through a dungeon, essentially. It's basically a game of leveling. So you start out level 1, and you need to find out a way to get yourself to the point where you can beat the final boss of the dungeon. You have a little kingdom that you can upgrade buildings to get more classes and stuff using the gold you find in the dungeons, which, honestly, they could have had a microtransaction there, but they didn't. I applaud them for that.
Yeah.
Not giving into temptation.
Anything else that you've been playing?
Depth.
You still playing Depth? That's awesome.
I've actually never gotten Depth.
You're a horrible person.
There's a big hype behind it, I know, throughout the Nidd, but
Yeah, we went on a Depth binge for a while.
yeah, I know, I saw.
You need to buy Depth so that way I can make you be a shark and poke a stick.
Drakaul is awesome at teaching too. He gave me a whole 101 teaching strategies at one point.
Which reminds me, we have to do that all over again because they've
changed
updated the format of the game.
That's right. So just when I
They
finally
literally,
figured it out,
one day,
they changed
the entire game.
It was like the
Anubis
day
learned the
after.
game and they changed everything on him.
It was the day after I figured it out.
Now, the new mechanics aren't really that different from the old ones. It's just the divers actually kits now, so you have to compensate for that.
I'm actually going to be taking scuba classes this summer, so that would be interesting.
I have my
Yes,
advanced
play
scuba.
Depth and then go scuba diving for real. That'll make you feel wonderful.
Yes, that's right.
But did you say you have a scuba diver license, Anubis?
Yeah, I actually have my advanced scuba ticket. I did, believe it or not, I got my advanced scuba ticket when I was in Australia. I did it in the Great Barrier Reef, but I didn't get killed by sharks.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, although I did get attacked by a triggerfish, which was an interesting experience.
Which one's the triggerfish again?
A triggerfish is a fish that is normally extremely passive for the entire year, except for about 2 weeks when they lay their eggs and are extremely territorial about them. They are, I don't know, maybe a half a meter long and fat, and they have something like 2 or 3 rows of razor sharp teeth in their mouth.
Oh my!
Sounds like a wonderful experience.
Yeah, so I was swimming along with my assigned buddy. We were down in the depths doing navigation training, so we were like trying to like find stuff and do directions underwater with compasses and all these things. And all of a sudden, I looked back behind me, and she was gone. Like, where'd she go? Just gone, right? And then I turn around again. I kept swimming, and all of a sudden I felt a tug. So I was swimming forward, and then I got tugged backwards. And so I looked back behind me, and there's this stinking fish that had latched on to my fin, and it was like shaking and wriggling like crazy and pulling on my fin. And it was the most terrifying sight. Like, it's just the teeth showing and eyes bulging out and just wriggling like crazy. And before you go into the Great Barrier Reef, they give you this huge spiel about, everything is protected, everything is, sacred, do not touch anything, do not attack anything, their lives are more precious than yours, basically speech, right? But the one exception...
I've never thought that about an animal.
But the one exception was, they said, is you happened to decide to go scuba diving in the one time of the year that you probably should have not. And if a triggerfish attacks you, you are allowed to try and kick it off and get away, right? So they told you basically, if it happens, and it probably won't because it never happens, you need to spin yourself upside down so you can look at it, and then you try and kick at it with a heel while looking at it, right? And so I started doing this, kicking at it, and I kind of got it off. It swam away, and it did one of those circles where it swims away from you and then slows down, comes back around, and then looks at you, and then just comes beeline straight for me again, right? With its mouth open, just like coming. I'm like, oh my God. And of course, I am too deep to do a direct descent to the surface. I've got my gauge in one hand, and I'm looking at it, because also when you're kind of like upside down, or I guess you're flipped around, because normally you'd be looking at the bottom of the ocean, right? So I've basically got my head looking up and bent over, so I'm looking at my feet, trying to swim away backwards, because the only thing you can do is try and get out of their area that they're protecting. So I'm kicking as hard as I can, looking at my feet, waiting for it to come so I can try and kick it off, and at the same time watching my pressure gauge, because of course if you're bent over like that and kicking, you're going up, right? Because your body is arced that way. So I was constantly looking at my pressure gauge. I'm like, oh crap, I'm going up. So then I have to throw my head back, kick, and then get back down to the depth I was at, and then look again and keep doing that until I finally got out of its control area. And then did my, ascend properly all the way back up, got onto the boat, and was immediately addressed by the instructors that was on the boat saying, like, where's your buddy? I'm like, I don't know. She took off. I got attacked by a triggerfish. And they're like, no, you didn't. And they wouldn't believe me. So I took my fin off and I handed it to him, and there was a pinky finger sized hole straight through the fin where it had bit. And I showed it to him like, I got attacked by a triggerfish. He's like, holy shit, okay. But yeah, that was my scuba diving experience, or one moment in Australia scuba diving. The rest of it was pretty uneventful, except for when they purposely tried to get the tiger sharks to come out, which was also an interesting experience.
Oh yeah, it has to be, scary.
Tiger sharks are fun.
Yeah.
So where do you scuba dive? Do you do it a lot not in Australia?
So I did Australia when I was there, obviously, because I had to. But here in Canada, or I live in Canada, so in Canada I've done off the west coast in the Georgia Straits, which is right between the Vancouver Island and the mainland. It's got some really good diving there. There's some wrecks and stuff you can go check out. I've done some diving in the Great Lakes as well, between Canada and US. I haven't done any ice diving yet, which I need to get a special ticket for that as well. But there's a course that they do up in the Rocky Mountains in the wintertime, when they ice it all over, or when they don't ice it all over, when the lake ices over, and they basically, because you have to get dry suit certified and then do all the training and everything. And you're in Canada when you successfully pass all the tests and everything. The celebration event is to jump into the ice cold water. They've cut out a little hole, you all jump in, and then we play hockey upside down in the water. So your feet are touching the surface of the ice, but from the underside, and you're upside down, and you get sticks and a floaty puck, and you play hockey. So I can't wait for this.
So isn't that dangerous though, scuba diving under ice?
Well, that's what the gear is for.
Okay.
Yeah, you get dry suit, so you're it's not a wetsuit. You don't have any water touching you.
Okay.
You wear warm clothing, and you put the dry suit on, which keeps it completely dry inside.
But if something were to go wrong, you have to find the hole that you.
Yeah.
I guess it's the danger behind it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely danger. There's danger to anything in life, but
Yeah.
Sitting on your couch is dangerous.
Yeah, some things more than others, but yeah.
Yeah, true enough.
I'm dead serious. You could die sitting on your couch very easily, and not in the ways that you're thinking of either. A satellite could fall out of the sky on your head.
A toilet seat from Mir space station will fly through the sky and kill you.
A frozen poo ball from a plane.
Of course.
It is highly illegal though to drop anything out of an airplane.
Yes.
Just because something's illegal doesn't mean they don't do it.
Like, it's into the point where you go to prison for very long periods of time if you drop something out of an airplane.
Again, if that was to prevent all things, we wouldn't have a purpose behind law enforcement or anything else.
Yeah, good point.
It's only
Being
illegal
illegal
if you
doesn't
get
make things not happen.
Yeah. Although okay. I was gonna try to come up with an argument, but I realized that it would completely and utterly fail.
That being said, don't drop anything out of a plane, kids.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly, because you may kill a family on their sofa.
That's right.
Although my flight instructor did at one point in time get his sectional, which is like it's the aviation equivalent of a road map, sucked out the window.
That works.
It was brand new, and he opens it up, and all of a sudden, whoosh, right out the window.
Like, oh, great.
Enough flight stories. I talk about that far too much. So that's really interesting that you do scuba. I was just doing it this summer just for an interesting summer thing. I can do fun stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great fun. I love it. From what I've heard, though, it's one of those things where you either love it or you hate it, right? Like people that try it out, you either love it and you want to keep doing it constantly, or it's just you never want to go into the water again. Like, it's like the two extremes. There doesn't seem to be much in between.
Okay, yeah, it's kind of like flying. You get into a plane, you like it. You get into a plane, you hate it. Anyways,
Yeah.
I compare everything to flying, which I really shouldn't.
Everything is comparable to flying. It's just how it works.
Flying is comparable to flying.
No, you can't compare those two because that's just uncomparable. It's like dividing by 0.
Exactly.
No exception.
So what have I been playing this week? Let's see, I've been playing a bit of naval action. I don't know if you've heard of that. Nice, fun little Navy, like this Age of Sail era combat game. Pretty realistic. And I've been playing some War Thunder simulator battles. Oh, and of course Unturned. I know Anubis has been playing it, and I know Drakaul has some certain arguments against it.
It's not my type of game.
Okay.
I mean, there are people that love it, and there are people that aren't going to like it. That's just how games work.
Right.
So Unturned is like scuba diving.
Yes, exactly. Scuba diving, yeah. Scuba diving equals
Or flying.
Unturned. There you go.
Or flying.
Oh boy.
See, I've been playing that. Unturned 3.0 is pretty good, although my biggest complaint about it is that once you reach a certain level, there's no challenge.
That is true.
They need to have those military compounds. They need to have some sort of special zombie for them that's a lot tougher.
Well, have you seen the tanks? Like in 3.0, they have tank zombies now.
Like the giant zombies, right?
The giant zombie, yeah, they're much harder to kill.
Yeah, but again, they need something that's more intelligent because I've seen people kill it, and if you have a rifle, you can just pick it off from long range.
True enough. Yep.
And another issue is when you shoot a zombie, they don't immediately aggro you.
Yeah, and
So
you can run far enough away, and they just stop chasing you.
Right.
Yep.
So they need to have more intelligent zombies, and I would almost say that it would benefit from having like an AI of other survivors, because I know you can play on servers with other people, but if I just want to get on and play with a couple friends, I don't want to get onto a server with a bunch of random people that I don't know.
Because they're just gonna kill you.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just not as enjoyable. I think it'd be a lot better if they just added some like survivor AI that would have
the people are more dangerous than the zombies.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is true of any zombie survival situation. The people are going to be way more dangerous than the zombies.
Yeah.
Remember that in the zombie apocalypse, don't talk to strangers.
So, like for instance, I've never played Daisy. I actually never owned an Arma game up until about a week ago. I got Arma 3. Fox 2 convinced me to get it, and I downloaded what's it called? I haven't played it yet, but it's like Breaking Point, which is like supposedly the Daisy equivalent for Arma 3. So I plan to play that here soon. Has anybody played anything like that? Daisy or something?
No, actually, we're getting ready to start playing 7 Days to Die. I think this weekend though. So I think, is that similar to what you're talking about?
I think so, yeah. Although I think 7 Days to Die is more the classic, because the way I see it, there's two kind of zombie survival games. You have your kind of sandbox build style, like Unturned or 7 Days to Die, and then you have your ones like Daisy, H1Z1.
Okay.
State of Decay.
State of Decay, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen
like
some
that.
State of Decay gameplay, so I know what that one's about.
Okay, yeah, I haven't actually seen State of Decay, but I've seen H1Z1.
State of Decay, it's an interesting one, apart from when the feral zombies start to show up. That is scary as hell.
So that sounds like it would be interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, it is on Steam. They actually just released the year one. I guess you could say unleashed too, but the year one update. It adds more thingies to it, but I'm not quite sure. I'm convinced that they gave me enough things to charge me an extra $20.
Are there like other Survivor AI in it?
Yes, there are other Survivor AI.
Yeah, it looks really strategic. Actually, it looks like a really interesting game where you have to, find other survivors and then get their trust and have them join you, so you can make, like have a bigger group. And there's like things you have to go do out in the world and find supplies and bring them back.
Yep.
And like create like workshops so that you can fix your cars and like all this kind of stuff. And there's like zombie hordes that kind of walk by and attack, and it looks really interesting actually.
That sounds incredibly
Hordes
fun.
you take care of with a car door. That's just how you do it.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah,
I noticed that in a lot of gameplay footage is just using cars to take care of everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does sound
That's not true.
incredibly
If you
fun.
hit
though.
one of the guys with a car, he will smash it, it will explode, and you will die.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can still sit there with a car door and just keep whacking them as they come by until the
Not
car
the
door
big
breaks
guy.
off. Unless the
He
big guy.
busts the car to pieces. He eats it.
For breakfast without any milk.
Nom,
And
nom,
evidently he swallowed a tank at some point, because if you shoot him in the chest, it does absolutely nothing.
nom. He's plated.
He's armor plated.
Yeah, armor plated.
Run.
So that looks
It does
interesting
sound
too.
fun.
Yeah, the mechanic behind that one is kind of silly though, because if you shoot him in the head normally, nothing happens. He charges, stumbles, falls over. You shoot him in the head with a 22, and his head explodes.
So wait, you have to wait until he falls over, then you can shoot him in the back of the head like you normally would anyway.
Yeah, you can shoot him in the front of the head with a 22, and his head explodes. I do not understand that.
He has to be fallen over in order for you to shoot him in the head, even though shooting him while he's standing up is the same thing.
Well, if you have a 50 cal, you don't need to shoot him in the head after when he's fallen over. But apart from that, when you shoot him with 50 cal, you've just attracted every zombie in the universe to you.
They just want to be your friends.
Oh yeah, I've accidentally made hordes because I clicked the wrong button.
Yeah, yeah, that happens a lot. Has anybody played Project Zomboid?
No, I
It's
haven't.
a similar.
I have friends who
No.
have, and they enjoy it a lot. Especially
Yeah.
since that they've committed suicide using bleach.
Okay.
It's a very
Yeah.
dark game. It's a
It
very,
is.
very dark game.
Now, have any of you? I highly doubt any of you have heard of or played this game, but Cataclysm: Dark Days Ahead.
Oh, no.
No.
Okay, it's free actually. You can type in Cataclysm DDA. It's an ASCII graphic style, so it's going to turn a lot of people off. But it's basically it uses roguelike movement mechanics. It's kind of like Project Zomboid, but it's better. It's further developed. It's been developed for a lot longer, so there's a lot more content in it. But it does have the ASCII graphic style that a lot of people aren't going to like.
Yeah,
It also doesn't
yeah.
support mice, so it's all keyboard driven.
Speaking of ASCII graphics, I came across a game, I don't know, three or 4 weeks ago now. It's called A Dark Room.
Is it about a room that is dark?
Yeah, you start off in a dark room,
Dun,
and you have to
dun,
stoke
dun.
the fire, and
What do you
make it-
know?
But it's completely ASCII, text based as well, where you get like it's a web game, and you just click on the buttons to stoke the fire, and then slowly but surely you get a nice warm room, and then you get to attract like a traveler comes by, and he can make carts, so then you can make a cart, and then you start to slowly build a village, and then you can slowly and it's got an ASCII map too that you can walk around with using like the WSD keys, and you have to bring supplies with you, and you can make bigger carts so you can go further, and you have to like discover the map, and it was a really quick and easy. I got addicted to it and played it constantly for a while until I finished it. But yeah, it was one of those ones where zero graphics, like it's all ASCII art, but unbelievably fun and addictive.
Yes, I'm playing it right now. I really shouldn't have started.
Well, I mean,
Stoke fire.
Yeah.
I'm complaining, and I'm playing Heroes and Generals at the moment.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just turned it on. And I looked it.
Oh, no,
I
wait,
looked
you
it up, and I just started pressing the button. And I didn't stop.
Oh God! What have you started? What have
Now
you
you're all going to
started?
be playing A Dark Room for like a week now.
Yeah. Does it save?
Yeah, it saves to local storage on your browser. So if you go to it from another browser, you'd have to start over. But if you keep opening it from the same browser, you're fine.
Okay, so I will have to be playing that for a long time to come.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoyed it.
Well, I think we've covered everybody's games, if I'm not mistaken. Anybody have anything?
Battlefront 3.
Battlefront 3. That's an old game.
No, it's not. Battlefront 2 is an old game. Battlefront 3 is the one that's handed over to DICE, and they're releasing it in October. And I'm scared.
Oh, Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about. Okay, sorry. I was completely mistaken there. I was sure you said Battlefield 3.
Well, that one too is actually that's why I'm very cautious about buying Battlefront 3, because Battlefield 3 had its year-long hiccup period.
Right. But I hope.
But
it'll
after
turn out
that,
well.
it was a brilliant game. I mean, after their that first year of horribleness, it was a brilliant game.
Okay, so what we're
But-
saying is don't buy Battlefront 3 for a year.
I'm not saying that because
that's what
it's
he's
made by
saying.
DICE, but maybe they've learned their lesson, and a lot of that is that EA wants them to push the games out sooner.
I hate
Right.
it.
And
Why does EA
Yeah.
have a say in anything anymore?
Because they have money.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
the problem
yeah.
with EA becomes now, a lot of people are like, oh, it's got EA on it, I'm not buying that. I don't really, I have to look at the other developer and look at their history before I do that. But I'm a bit more cautious since the Star Wars The Old Republic game.
Oh yes, yeah.
Because that MMO, that they did not do a very good job at it. They released it way too early. I mean, they spent forever developing it. I was anxious for it. I was prepared. I was hyped about it. It was amazing for the first 5 minutes, and then I got to the raids, and it was like, oh my god, this is so glitchy. So we killed the boss, but he didn't die. The boss killed us some way that we don't understand. And
Fun.
you report all these bugs, but nothing happens for like a month, and then finally they fix it as they release the next raid. That's just as buggy.
As usual, game developers releasing things buggy because of publishers pushing on them.
Yep.
Exactly.
Just look at Sonic Boom.
Yes, exactly. So many games have been ruined like that, but that's the way the gaming industry is going.
That's why I support the indie developers.
Yes.
I won't support all of them.
No,
saying.
Early access.
Yeah, early access is great and horrible all at the same time. So
Yes, it's wonderful but terrible at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you fight a game that's beautiful, but it's horrible.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
But if they're constantly updating it and it's constantly getting better and they're actually, helping and fixing and communicating, then you know what, I can deal with a lot if there is actual movement in, with the developer and the community.
Yeah. Kind of like, Space Engineers early on. It was a bit. It wasn't the most polished game.
It's still not exactly the most
It's still not the most polished game, but early on it had
what you pay for a polished game.
Yeah, but early on it had some major hiccups. But the nice thing was the devs just every week they kept putting out, they kept fixing the bugs from previously. Like, of course, they added new content that made more bugs, but they very rarely let a bug stick around for long.
99 bugs on the wall, take one down, patch it around, 274 bugs on the wall.
That's good.
All right, well, it's getting to the end of that time where we need to start ending the episode. So thank you all for watching. Check out Anubis and Drakaul's channels. They're on YouTube.
Thank you.
Links will be in the
Don't do it.
description somewhere.
It's terrible. It's a trap.
It's a trap. Has somebody been watching too much Star Wars?
It's a trap.
Oh, I thought that was a Family Guy reference.
No, it's Star Wars.
I know.
Okay, everyone, goodbye.
Oh, okay, I was worried there.
Bye.
All right.
Bye, goodbye, bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Before they keep talking.